Namaste Starlights. My name is Camilla. I am a human. I am a licensed professional counselor and I'm a certified spiritual coach. And I wanted to make a video post Bali, post spiritual retreat. It's been about a week now. I came back to the States last Saturday on the 20th. And I figured, wrap up the Bali series, I guess the first series on my channel. Uh, did a video the night before I flew out, did a video on the last day of the retreat. So I figured I'd let you guys know how things went, how I felt, what the next steps are in my life. So I am a writer. I'm detailed. I love telling stories. This will be a bit of a longer video. I'm gonna talk like you're right there. Like we're just chit chatting over a cup of tea. So I'll get you started with just getting there. I flew out on April 12th from my home airport to Philadelphia. That was my longest layover of the entire time, which was 4 hours. I made sure to get some food, listen to my body. I was admittedly experiencing a lot of financial anxiety, just even going on this trip, the money I was spending on this trip. But, I made sure to still have a bit of fun. And once again, don't deny myself of things. So made sure to eat. I made the trek to my next gate. That was about 20 minutes. I knew I would be sitting for a long time anyway, so I was like, I'm just gonna walk the entire way. I usually will take the train or like I will try and do what I can to get to my next gate as possible. But I also usually have like shorter layovers, like an hour, a little over an hour. So got to my gate, and then from Philly, I flew to Doha, Qatar. And when I got the flights, right? So I wanted to make sure I picked my seats because this is my first international travel experience. And it was important to be getting up and moving my feet. And I was very, very scared of being bug caught, very paranoid. And I even got compression socks. But I wanted to make sure I was moving. So I wanted to get aisle seats. That way I wouldn't be like having to awkwardly disrupt people to get up. I was able to get aisle seats on my flight from Doha to Bali and my two first flights back. So my flight leaving Bali and my flight from Qatar to JFK. But so the flight from Philly to Qatar, I couldn't get an aisle seat, right? I'm usually a window woman myself. I love my window seats. Okay. Let me sleep on the window. Let me look out and look at the view. Okay. Window all day, every day. But this time I was like international. I'm gonna be an aisle woman right now. Okay. So, but American Airlines was like, no, you got to pay more for an aisle or window seat. And I'm like, American, please. American, no. So I had to settle for a window seat. I did pick um, a seat that was like right. It was ended up being right in front of the bathroom, so I was in that like row in front of the bathroom. I thought it was a good idea before because okay, if you like me and you get a little nervous, okay, you get some stomach problems, okay, and so I was trying to be prepared. I was trying to make sure I was good in case I needed it. Turns out I didn't really. Once again, I wasn't anxious on the flights. And I regret it because the bathroom carries a smell. Okay. So, um, but on that flight to Qatar, I was seated in between two gentlemen and I tried my best to be open and trying to socialize with them a little bit. I wanted to not go into this experience like the reserved Camilla that I usually am. I have social anxiety. I get nervous and shy meeting new people. I don't want to talk much. But I wanted to leave that behind. And so I talked with the gentleman, and they're very nice. When I shared my final destination of Bali with a guy in the aisle seat, he was like, "Oh yeah, Bali, it's great, fantastic." But he's been there, done that. Okay, he was on his way to India to go surfing because that's why he travels. And I'm like, that's really cool. So connections, right? Like we can make connections every day. You may never see the person again, but it was very cool to just open myself up to that experience. So then got to Qatar, and that's when I landed that, or landed. I learned that another woman who's going to be going to the retreat will be on the same flight to Bali. We tried to link up prior to the flight, but data and international stuff didn't work out. I did tell her my seat, so she ended up actually introducing herself to me while on the flight. So able to formally meet before we even landed. This flight, once again, I got seated near the bathroom. So first time was intentional. Second time was not. I didn't even mean to pick a seat in the bathroom the second time. I just picked an aisle seat that I thought was good. So lesson learned, I guess. Do look harder next time. I didn't see the bathroom sign on the seat map anyway. So um, airplane food was pretty decent, and accommodations were pretty decent. So this was Qatar Airways from Doha to Bali, and landed in Bali about 8 a.m. Local time there, 8 a.m. in the morning on Sunday. So Sunday the 14th, which is the official start day of the retreat. Um, And so afterwards, me and the other woman, we met up. And for privacy reasons, I'm not using their names because I have permission to use their names yet. Um, and so we met up and we went through customs and did all that stuff. As mentioned, I think in the very first video, I had done everything essentially. I don't think I had declared customs yet because I couldn't until the morning that I flew out. But before I went to the airport, I declared my customs in Indonesia. So I pretty much had everything set. Once again, couldn't get the cash. Spoiler alert: I ended up with cash without my entire trip. Would not recommend. um, you can manage with just a card. I'm thankful my credit card doesn't have international or like foreign transaction fees. But having money does help. But we went through the customs process. She got a SIM card. I and I'm grateful to my mama. Shout out, mom. I am on her cell phone bill. You know, that's the only bill she still pays. And so, you know, I asked her to um, activate an international plan for me. We are on T-Mobile, and that held up pretty well the entire trip. So if you don't want to get a SIM card and you're on T-Mobile and you're just being in Bali, that's fine. I can't say to the rest of Indonesia or if you go out far, but I was fine the entire time. So me and the woman, we were talking and we were like, we were just gonna chill at the airport. Like both of us were kind of on the budget. Um, you know, and I like airports. I wouldn't have minded because check-in for the a villa for the retreat wasn't until 4. So, you know, I was just going to chill. But Chelsea, the woman who ran the retreat, was kind enough to um, she reserved us another villa just for a few hours. I think that ended up being nice because I mean, got to wash off 30 hours of travel, especially since I was sitting in the bathroom and just really just relax a little bit. My feet were swollen. I tried to get up, probably didn't get up as much as I could have or should have, even with compression socks. So be mindful. Please move your feet. um, but yeah, we changed and then we went to a nearby restaurant. It was like a restaurant slash art gallery. It was pretty cool. It's called Tony Rocca, and I got something called Tipat Kantuk. So it's like this vegan Balinese dish. Had like rice cakes on there. It was like tofu and I think bean sprouts in there. It was really really delicious. And then you know just walking the streets of Bali because we walked from the villa to the restaurant. It was very interesting. I don't know if I had necessarily culture shock. I was just taking everything in. And it was, first of all, Bali is hot as hell, y'all. Um, just sweating, dripping. I had brought makeup because I thought I was going to be in Bali looking cute. Not, no, just sweating, y'all. But it was nice. It was fun walking the streets a little bit. And then we get to our actual villa. Okay, so we went back to the villa. The driver came, took us to the resort villa or retreat villa. And so the other woman and I are confused. Are we at the right place? Because we don't see or hear Chelsea. We don't see any other woman. We're like, is this right? And there was construction, so we were a bit confused. It was off a narrow road. And, we're like kind of talking amongst ourselves, confused. And then this guy comes. Okay, so there's stairs in the villa, okay, that lead to other rooms in the common area and the pool. And he just walks up the stairs. And he looks at us. And he very confidently says, "You guys are in the right place." And he walks off. Now, we later told Chelsea about it, and she had this look of like, no. I thought maybe it's like a hotel, where you have your rooms. So maybe everyone had their rooms, but maybe there are other people who were there too. No, he wasn't supposed to be there. I didn't feel unsafe. Um, but it was definitely a weird coincidence. So it's a funny story to tell, kind of one of the first things that happened. But so met Chelsea in person. I worked with her back in like 2021. Um, so definitely, it's something different to meet someone you've met online. But I think who she presents who she presents herself as online is who she is in person. And the other women were amazing as well. So there was, including me, let me count here. So including me, Chelsea, who runs the retreat. There was a international teacher who's worked in China. Um, there was a woman who, is from Budapest. She's a travel nanny. There was another woman from America, a single mom who works at a daycare. And then there was a final woman. So she actually lives in Bali already, and she participated in the retreat, but she also helped out Chelsea because they're close friends, kind of like Chelsea's right hand woman. And at some points during the retreat, there was like there were points they were like not intentional, but like she would be forgotten about. But it was like because oh, like you are close with Chelsea, like it's like almost like she was like thought she was running it her running it as well. Excuse me, got a little bit of stutter going on there, but all the women were very nice and very amazing, and I think I mentioned the woman I met at the airport too, who's a social worker. So yeah, first night we kind of dove right in um, by sharing our stories. And Chelsea she told us that, you know, this was the last time we were sharing our stories and then we were letting him go. So I can make a whole different video about that, why we cannot or identify with our stories, but I think that was very healing. Once again, a lot for flying in 30 hours, but that was the start of the retreat, right? Um, so throughout those like 5 days, there was a lot of healing. There were different workshops. One was about your inner child. There was one on Ayurveda, which, if you're not familiar with that, it's, and I unfortunately don't 100% know, but it originates maybe I think in India. It's the Eastern medicine. It says that we all have a constitution, and that depending on our body constitution, we should eat a certain way and work out a certain way. So it may be wrong. It may not be India. It is Eastern medicine, and we did one on money and creating your own business. That's kind of why I'm here making this video. Um, I think something that's nice about Chelsea is that she sees the potential in the people she works with, And when we were working back a few years ago, I talked about my fears of making content. And uh, she said to me, like, if I had started, though, I would be in a different position than I am now. And so that's why I'm here. Um, so there was that money making workshop. There was one on feminine energy in marriage and dating. And I think that was the main one. So we did a yoga practice every morning. We learned how to meditate and then did that as well. There was a fantastic, he was so sweet. It was fantastic chef who made the most delicious, yummy vegan food. And I drank out of a coconut for the first time. Okay, seems simple, but I promise you never done it. Um, and I'm like, I'm drinking coconuts in Bali. Like, um, just like I'm drinking coconut. But yeah, it's just really good food. He hurt his foot on one of the last few days. He kept insisting on coming in to work and to cook. And all of us, especially Chelsea, she was like, no, 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 you go right, like you're fine. You still get paid. He was like, no, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no. And the Balinese people, they're very nice. They're very like, I think one of the things that as a person from America, right, there's that feeling of unsafety, of having to be on our guard, hyper vigilant, be aware of our surroundings, because things are crazy, especially nowadays, where you never know. So to let that guard down in Bali was tough for me. Like I remember locking the door to my room the very first day. There's a main door to the villa, so it's not like no one can walk into my room unless it's like another woman on the retreat or something like that. So no strangers can walk in there. But I'm just so used to that. You know, Chelsea's like, no, you don't have to lock the room. I'm like I really struggled with that. I actually ended up leaving the door unlocked after the first day. Um, but yeah, no, everyone's been nice. The people, the drivers, the tour guides, all nice. Um, we went to a waterfall. So that waterfall was beautiful and amazing. Maybe I'll post and share a picture of it. It, it just so being spiritual, you know, and believing in God, in that to me, I believe God is like energy. God's like everywhere and everything all around us. Seeing that waterfall, I was like, God is real. God is real. And it kind of just reminded me that the world is so much more than what I've been living. But it was beautiful. Listen, so first of all, okay, I cannot swim. I'm a stereotype. Okay, I jokingly blame my parents because I wanted to take swimming lessons as a kid and they never got me into swimming lessons. So now, my big old age, okay, my young but big old age, I don't know how to swim. And I also missed the memo of bringing a swimsuit. I don't know why. I just did. I have one. I don't really wear it because I don't. Once again, I'm not in situations where I swim typically. But luckily, one of the other women was nice enough to let me borrow her swimsuit. The teacher who worked in China, um, and you know, we got in the water for the waterfall. There was one part I went off into a deep area and I dropped. And I was so scared, y'all. I was like, oh, this is it. God's calling me home. But I made it. We stood at the base of like the waterfall. And I don't have those photos yet, but I think those will be amazing. Um, we went to a temple before that, and you know, it was very traditional. You had to put on a particular outfit and you know, pray with the flower petals between your tips, and then you went into the water and like there was these spouts and you had to pray at them. And I'm probably not doing justice in explaining it, but it was very healing and cathartic. And did a photo shoot as well, so you can use that for content creation, all types of stuff. And I'm trying to think what else. Went to So one of the things I was worried about was that I'm not going to be able to get into the heart of Bali because I'm only here for the retreat, right? me and the woman who I met up with at the airport, we were only there for the retreat. Um, so I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'll be able to actually like get out and see other things. There was downtime though. It wasn't like we were doing uh stuff like there wasn't a full day of itinerary. Um, so I was able to make it out to a lounge um in Bali one of the nights with the international teacher. Um, there's another story with that. It was a good time. It was there's another crazy wild story with that. But I'm glad I did that. Because I felt like the nervousness stuff, like, oh, like I don't know, like during the trip, my inner critic was still kind of loud, unfortunately. Once again, the other one were nice and amazing, and we're there because we are wanting to send things out of our lives, and but the inner critic in me was loud. It was very loud. It was like, you're not supposed to travel to these other women. Like they're not gonna like you. Like I by the end of the retreat, which was once again like day 5, Friday, I think I had finally begun to let my guard down. It takes me a little bit. Um, it's close like I wish I had more time. So I kind of let my guard down more. So I think, yeah, I just wish I had more time. I mean, they're all lovely and everyone was lovely and amazing, beautiful souls, and we're still staying in touch through WhatsApp, which is good, and I hope to continue to cultivate those relationships. Um, I've always wanted to have sort of like a Black sisterhood. Now I'm open to all types of people and races and ethnicities in my life, but for me, I haven't really been able to find like Black sisterhood, and I think it's something important to me that I want to cultivate. So I'm glad to be able to have met Celeste and some other amazing women with like similar shared life experiences, and just got to meet them. No matter where the relationship goes. Once again, I hope I can continue to cultivate them. Um, so yeah, leaving Bali on Friday, day 5. It was mixed emotions. I wish I could have stayed longer or gotten in there early or had more time. Once again, time. It kind of made me sad that I was only there for the retreat because I had to go back to the grind, right? I had to go back to America. I had to go back to the grind. We had talks about life in America and how America creates this certain it creates like it molds you to be a certain way, right? But again, to be on the grind. With our economy now, it's expensive to live. Nothing seems cheap or affordable anymore. You have to work more. You have to work multiple jobs to make a living, especially if you're single income. The violence and the fear, and not to get into politics, but the political like environment right now is just a lot. I don't allow myself to rest very often. And I think that's something that happens to a lot of helpers, right? Teachers, therapists, social workers, um, like nannies, like anyone whose career is to help other people, right? We we often get to a place where we're not managing it and monitoring it carefully. We neglect ourselves, and I kind of was at that point. I love what I do. I want to change it. Um, I want to change being a helper. I would do it differently, and I took that away from the retreat. Something that was said to me that stuck out by Chelsea was, don't create another prison for yourself. Um, but once again, I can make another video about my thoughts on being a therapist and the field itself. Um, I think it's important to rest. And life doesn't have to be about grinding. It shouldn't be about grinding. Um, it's funny. So the same woman and I who met up at the airport, we left together because once again, we both had to leave to go back to work. And when we got to the airport, we were so confused by security. So there's like a scanner that you put your bag on the conveyor belt and it scans your bag and you take your bag and you walk off. Now, now if you're American like me, you're like, I was shook. I was like, is that it? And it's, and I get it. I understand because I'm a millennial baby. Okay. So was there for 9/11 and I know like how things changed after that. So it's more so not, I was like, it's not questioning why America does TSA the way that it does, but it's just the difference is what like kind of was like, it shook me. It was like, wow. And getting back to America and then like doing the American TSA because when you fly internationally, you have to go through security again. It was like, yeah, you just feel the difference. But I understand why they do it. I don't say it's a bad thing they do it that way. It's just like not like traveling internationally for the first time for me has just like once again made me show like has shown me that there's so much more in the world to see and I want to see it. Um, I took away a lot of things from the retreat. One being I need to take care of myself better and more often. Two is that I don't want to be stuck in this fight or flight anymore, doing this grind anymore. I want things to be different. And so I've been figuring that out and thinking about it. I was born in Germany and my parents swear up and down that I have German citizenship. They said they had to pay a fee to get me citizenship, but that they got me citizenship. And now look, okay, like when you're in school or like a job and like they do like the getting to know you activity or the two truths and a lie or something like some just icebreaker. Okay. I've always used the fact that I was a German citizen. I've always used the fact that I have dual citizenship as my little fun fact. So it has to be true. Otherwise, my life is a lie. Otherwise, I've been lying to people my entire life. There's confusion about that is why, people have asked or who I've talked to about it. They're like, yeah, no, you can't be a German citizen unless one of your parents is German. There's no way. Germany did kind of make a regulation that if you were born in 2000 or later, in Germany, that you would be a dual citizen and then you had up until like I think the age is between 23 to 28 to either um to like renounce one country. So either you had to say between those ages, I'm going to be German citizen and renouncing American citizenship or vice versa. It's not retroactive, so it doesn't count for me. I'm hoping that So I talked to my parents and I'm hoping that I can get my birth information, my documentation sent to me um, to prove that I was a citizen. My dad swears up and down. So being in Berlin had different privileges than the rest of Germany. So while the rest of Germany may have not been given people born there during that time citizenship, Berlin was. I don't know. We're going to figure out and see. So what does this mean? Am I going to up and move to Germany? I mean, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, aber nicht so gut. Um, I think it would open a window of opportunity for me. I don't want to, I've been stuck for a very long time in different areas of my life. I see these people all the time, like on YouTube, who are like, I got and left everything and I moved to Japan or Bali or some other country. I'm like, how? How do you do that? And I think for me, it's time. It's time. I'm not my body, but if we're honest, my body is getting older. I have health stuff that I don't want to take for granted. Like, I'm grateful to God that I'm so able bodied and I'm able to walk. I don't want to, and it sounds like I'm living in fear or like I'm living on a countdown, but I don't want to take that for granted. I may not be able to do so one day anymore. I'm grateful that I was able to get to Bali and do those things. And I'm like, I want to be doing what I can. I want to be living. And I want you to live too. You deserve to live. If you feel like you're stuck or if you feel like you don't know what to do or you're struggling, you're not alone. I get it. It's like, but aren't you a therapist and a coach? Like, you shouldn't be stuck. But that's why I say I'm human first. I'm human first, and I'm figuring it out. So that's sort of what's in the air right now. I'll make another video kind of about what I'm thinking about my career. Right now, we'll see if I'm a German citizen. um, and I'll be making these videos. Um, I do want to work on my coaching business. So I think that's something that I've been wanting to work towards, but I've been scared to. So yeah, that's it. I can confidently say that the trip to Bali changed my life. I will be back. I will be back to Bali. And I want to go places. I want to see the world. Go see the world. If you have any thoughts about wanting to international travel and you're nervous and you're scared, go do it. It's easier said than done. I get it. Listen, I charged my credit card. I hopped on a plane. You can make up time. Or excuse me, you can make up money, but you can't make up time. Starlight, I believe in you. Even if you don't believe in yourself, you like have any questions or about my trip or anything else, or if you want any particular videos, feel free to reach out in my comments. And that's it for now. I don't know how long this video is. I'm sitting on my phone and it's backwards, so I can't see the time. But thank you for watching this video, sticking through it, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, beautiful Starlight.